Welcome to Memoirs of Fitness Trainer podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Tullis, joined by my forever co-host, the one and the only Mr. Tyler Johnson. Say hello to our growing audience, sir.
What's up, growing audience? How we growing today?
All
How's
right.
it growing?
I don't know how I feel about that growing statement. It makes my mind go somewhere, but I'm a deviant. But anyway, that fun, odd comment aside. Today, we are talking about a fun topic in personal training, and that's taking over clients from other trainers. And it's kind of a fun part in that it's not fun. It's one of these things that does happen often throughout your career where trainers will leave, trainers will quit, trainers will give bad experiences, and you have to take a client from them. Or sometimes trainers will gift you clients based on you having a better skill set or a better match with that person. And it can be a little awkward to navigate, as I've just experienced a few days ago. But Tyler, let's hear your hot take on it, my man. What do you think of about taking on clients from other trainers, and kind of what's your experience been with it?
Well, all right, so I'm right in the mix. So this happens a lot. When you're in club, this definitely is a thing. Usually when you're out of club and you kind of become an entrepreneur, you do your own thing or you're doing one-on-ones, most of the clients that you get are people that are interested in losing weight that possibly have an experience with fitness, but not necessarily personal training. A lot of the time it's kind of like their first time, right? Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. When you're on
Yeah.
your own running shop, it doesn't happen quite as often as, say, like when you're 40, 50 hours a week and you have a team of people kind of backing you. I would definitely agree with that.
Right. So, and now that, inside club, there's a lot more of like hey, this person's leaving, this person got fired, this person's coming in, there's a lot more of that transfer going on. And it can be a little tricky. It can be a little shifty. The other, thing is, you get people on the floor when you're a new trainer that are interested in who's the new person and they possibly trained with somebody else and they didn't like the experience. And now you have to find out, oh, that person used to train with them and now they're coming to you. So, there is a lot of different scenarios in it. I'm excited for this topic to see like what's the horror stories that you've gone through and what's the success stories. Because I know that if you've had enough time, there has been good and there's been bad. There's been the ones that want to fight you on it. That my old trainer used to tell me this, and now you're telling them something different. So yeah, I'm excited to see which rabbit hole we decide to jump down today.
Okay. Well, first thing we'll go ahead and go through, I'll talk about the experience that I just recently had. I'm going to leave some names out of it because the trainer in question in the story is a friend and someone who I do think highly as an individual. Might not be the biggest fan of his skill set anymore after getting said client, but I'm going to withhold opinions for the most part. So I work as an independent trainer on top of what I do with online coaching and consulting, where I still do some in-person work, where I rent space out of a gym. And there are other trainers there who, trainers come and go. They quit the industry or they move on to bigger and better things. And this instance, I ended up being gifted a 3 time a week client, which, there you go. That's always kind
Woo!
of nice to get an extra 1,500 to 1,600 bucks coming in a month, right?
Holy crap.
But
Yeah.
on the other side of it, it's you have this person that has a very clear expectation and quite frankly, knowledge on what personal training is supposed to be. And you kind of have to meet that on. So this is my first rodeo kind of meeting with someone in this scenario. And so I'm training this guy, we meet, everything's all well and good. But this guy who's been working with this other trainer for years, you almost expect him to know a little bit, to like, all right, I know how to squat. I know the royal movements, squat, hinge, press, lunge. There's a few other in there, but the
Yeah.
basics of fitness. Well, this was not the case. After years of training with my aforementioned friend, yeah, I honest to God would have thought was day one. This guy went down to a
Oh,
squat. His knees caved immediately, fell forward, did a lunge, just fell over to the side. I'm like, oh my God, what are we
wow.
doing? And that's fine for you to be there, right? Like that's not a bad thing day one to see a client that can't do a lunge. or can't do a proper squat. I get it.
Yeah.
But to have someone that's been training with someone for years to come in and not be able to do fundamental things is terrifying.
Mhm.
So, as much as I wanted to kind of like dog on this last trainer and essentially take everything he knew and just say, hey, everything you've learned is clearly terrible. We can't use it. I had to start navigating this situation to where this trainer who he thought very highly of, well, I can't say he's a bad trainer. I can't say what he's been teaching you is bad because this person's so bought into this other person that if I reject them, me, this stranger, this person this guy's only known for a couple of days at best, versus this guy he's known for years and really believes in.
Right.
So it's been a tough thing, but essentially it's just teaching him slowly as time's gone on. Day by day, we're just slowly relearning how to do movements, relearning depth, relearning proper form for doing a lot of things. But it's very, very hard to not just say, hey, everything you know is wrong, just start over.
So
But yeah.
I mean, when you're saying like he didn't know any of this stuff, like knowledge versus somebody who like always has to be told how to do something. Like you know this with like I'm not to speculate that men don't do it a lot too, but more with women. I have a lot of women that I have to every single session. Doesn't matter if I've trained them for a year, 3 years. Keep your shoulders down. Like, and I have to physically grab their shoulders and pull them down on a lot of the movements. And they just like they'll cue themselves, they'll hear it. But I know like every session it comes to it and they're doing the same movement. They're doing the lat pull down, they're shrugging and their shoulders are up here. And I'm like, we've been doing this for 4 months, twice a week. Shoulders down. Like, and so sometimes people just have to grasp that. Is that what kind of like a case, or this just dude was just like squatting with his knees over the toes, knees together, like no hip stability.
Oh,
What do
his knees were exploring all 360 degrees range of motion in a circle. It
Oh,
it was almost
what?
impressive. I was like, how could one person be this unstable? What
Wow.
the fuck? But
Oh,
again, this isn't a shot against this guy because he's just wasn't taught correctly.
no,
But
dude,
I
shots are fired. You just said his knees go in 360-degree circle. He's been training for 2 years. Choo choo. I'm like,
shots fired, I know, right?
oh
But
man, dude.
it's to kind of your point. Yes, there are some people that there's nothing on God's green earth that you can do to get them to get it done right and to not need you to
Yeah.
continually cue them on it. I've got a few of them where it's just, all right, chest up. Yep, pull your shoulder blades down. Yeah, congratulations. We've been doing this for years, and I still have to tell you that. That's okay. Like some people
Yeah.
just, quite frankly, just don't care that much about learning. At least that's my opinion. And that's okay. That's fine. It's why they hired a trainer. They know where they're at, what they're willing to do, and what they aren't willing to do. This guy was just someone who was never taught correctly and is a walking injury waiting to happen, which thankfully we're going to very much correct out. But he's in great
Yeah.
spirits, and I think he's starting to catch on that maybe his trainer beforehand probably didn't teach him some correct things. But that's not going to be my place to say. As much as that type A in me wants to kind of attack, it's like no, 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 no. There's a time and a place. Yeah. Have you
Okay.
had any experiences with things like that where you've taken over a client from another trainer and just kind of been a little let down with what was passed off to you?
My ego really wants to say like, no, yeah, like they've always taken something away. But I like to believe in my methods, and I haven't experienced anybody outside of this is the only case scenario that, and it's not even from a personal trainer. I'll have somebody who's like an athlete or like went to like a D2 college or was on a football team and had a really good strength and conditioning coach that they'll come to me and I'll be like, hey, we're gonna do deadlifts. Let me see what you got. And they're like, oh, beautiful. You just need a few cues, a little correction. We got you. Versus
So
somebody coming
rare.
from a personal training. Yeah, exactly. From personal training typically I'm having to break down different ways like that they're wrong. And I'm like, you know, it got you moving. There's a lot of corrections. This is the response I get most of the time because people don't want to talk crap about different person in front of your new trainer, but I get a lot of this. You know, it's a lot different when I'm working with you. Like you really drill in form. And that's just a little thing of saying like this person used to just push me and make me sweat. They didn't really care that I was doing it right or wrong. It was just let's get this moving and let's do a workout that make you sweat. So that's the
Yeah.
different atmosphere between like the trainers who drill form and the trainers that like to talk about sushi that they ate over the weekend and make you sweat.
My favorite is yeah, it's really hard when I do it this way. So when it's correct, it's really hard, is what I'm hearing from this, right? I mean, I guess I'm like, no, 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 no. There's no guessing here. That's exactly what the fuck you're telling me right now.
Yeah. I mean I've taken over clients like there's people that approach me from the floor. I have one dude actually, he's just leaving the club and I actually very much respect this guy. He's very knowledgeable about the body. He's taken up another position again to do better things. 25 years plus experience. He was a ski coach. He's going to Germany. He's, you know,
Dude, that's
really,
awesome.
really knowledgeable about the human anatomy and body. Me and him would spitball, and he's somebody I look to as very close in the peer. And you know me with education factor, like when it comes to meeting somebody in the gym who's very knowledgeable about the body. This is somebody that I see even lightly above me in knowledge. His
Dude, that's
training
awesome.
style his training style wasn't really so coordinated in the idea of like writing the workouts and keeping folders and keeping documentation, but he was more of like the people come see him because, oh, he's like an adjustment guy. You know, like he'd come, he knew about like how to work the body, how to work muscles. He would be your physical therapist in club.
Well, it's like
Uh,
a Mario without the you remember Mario
yeah,
from
of
LT,
course.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Uh,
without the, like a million client folders for some reason.
yeah. I never got that either. I didn't ever saw him open them. Um,
That's
he just
not
always had a.
true.
Did you ever see him on the floor with it open or
No,
like working on it? I never did. He just
dude
always had a huge freaking stack,
he
and
always
there's
had
like
like a
papers all
file
through it.
cabinet full and an
And
office
I'm
full of
like,
trainers just for him. And I was like, what are you doing?
I feel like he was just like downstairs ripping apart magazines and just stuffing it to make it look like they're bigger. It just looks like a bunch of written words are in there.
Oh man,
Um,
that's rough.
anyways, so he's leaving. He's leaving me with somebody who, her and her husband are going to start training with me. And, she even said, she's like, I love him. He works me out really well, but I've seen you on the floor and it seems like you're always writing stuff down or tracking the workouts. And that's one thing he never did for me. And I never could know like what numbers to work with or my weights. And he tried, he just wasn't good at like sending it out or giving me the paperwork. And I just want to know like kind of like how you do it. And so I showed her my client folders and I show her like, I use like the app on the phone, Trainerize. And she's like, that's awesome. So yeah, that's what I would like. It's a different style, but then there's the other trainer, there's another trainer, I won't mention her name, but one of the clients that she previously trained, she told me she's like, I loved her. She had a great conversationalist, but that seemed like what she was, a conversationalist. She would come in, she didn't have a plan. There would always just be like, how you doing? And she just wanted to talk. And, I'm paying a lot of money to get results. And she came to me and she had again, like you, she had no system of squat. She didn't know what she was doing. And I had to kind of reteach and reevaluate what she was doing. And like, what'd you do prior to the meeting with me as far as a warm up? She's like, I'm supposed to warm up before sessions. I'm like,
Yeah. And if you don't warm
yeah,
up, guess what we're doing for the first 10 minutes? We're warming up. That sucks.
yeah.
You should have done it beforehand.
Congratulations. You've wasted, let's see, $150 per hour. Well, you wasted about $43 or $42 for coming not warmed up
Damn.
down the drain. Can you
It's
imagine
wild
like
to
just
think
saying
about.
that, right? Like, here's $40. That's what you get for not showing up 15 minutes early. Just right there.
That's awesome. I like that, kind of taking it back to like, hey, like your time here is very valuable. Like you're spending a lot of money to work with me. I would take advantage of it, show up early, get warmed up, mobilize, do things I've taught you so I can teach you more things versus just making sure you did the shit that I've already taught you. Man. Okay. Have you ever had a good experience though, where someone came from another trainer and they really liked that trainer, but they had to switch over? Because I think it's really easy to take over a client when they've had a bad experience, where they've wanted to
Yeah.
work with a trainer, they wanted something and they didn't get it, and now they're just continuing to search on it because you're not having to deal with their preconceived notion of what a good trainer looks like. You're having to essentially just, hey, I just have to show up and not suck, and this person will get taken care of. Have you ever had that like positive handoff before though?
I have. It would take me a second to like really put in the mind. I haven't had too many with I've only been at the club that I'm at for 6 months.
It's rare
Like
though.
it's more rare, I'd say. I've had like more transitional handoffs, like, hey, like this person still works with me in club, but it's like, hey, like I want him to get better at this. I know that you're better at it. I'm gonna have him come work with you. Or it's
Mm.
like my schedule's gotten too full. This client wants to come back on. I think they'd be a good match. Not necessarily like, man, I had a great trainer. He's moving. I wanna it's everything's perfect with how he was. I had no problems. What do you got for me? So, do you have like a case in your mind that kind of comes more familiar?
I mean, that's literally the guy I was just talking about.
Yeah.
With that like positive handoff. I mean, I've had what is it? Actually a guy you used to work with, Stefan. You remember
Oh,
him?
Steph Singh. Dude, I just got in contact with him like
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, he's a good
Literally.
dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still working with him right now?
No, I
That's
haven't.
right.
He moved overseas, then moved further downtown and stuff, so he wasn't able to
Okay.
work with the commute. But
Yeah.
yeah, like a gentleman like that, I mean, again, trainer with a really good skill set, really liked working with you, needed a new trainer, and essentially that kind of handoff happened with me taking him on, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, didn't have to really teach that guy a bunch of new stuff because you drilled the shit out of him. So I mean, that's like one instance that was like super positive, and there's been like a
Yeah.
couple others where people have handed off clients and it's like, hey, I'm no longer training and kind of going that route. And it's been super positive where, oh, wow, my friend, the trainer, built this person into what they were supposed to be. But as far as someone going from a trainer they really loved and and kind of coming to you, even though that trainer was kind of poor at what they did, on like a fair few, but I do think handoffs happen, and they're things that trainers need to get really good about navigating. Because if the
Yeah.
first thing out of your mouth when you're talking about like someone's previous trainer is, "Wow, that guy sucks," I don't think you're going to have a client for very long,
Right.
in most instances. But
They've
I've
built
definitely
a
got
personal
many.
relationship.
What was
Yeah.
that?
Like they've built a personal relationship with that person. Whether they
Exactly.
liked them as their skill set, maybe they didn't. Maybe at a certain point they're like, man, this person's not exactly the skill set, but I'm doing better than what I would do on my own, and I enjoy their company and they're fun and it's exciting and I love it. They're creating that experience and it's like you can sell the experience. Awesome. If people see even a minor result, they'll attribute the experience to that result basis,
Yep.
and then you can run that river for a long time. Um,
Oh yeah.
Guys like you and me actually want to see the results where it's just like, yeah, we do have fun, but you went out drinking on Friday night and you showed up to our session hungover Saturday, and now what the fuck? Like, I don't curse a lot on here. So it's like we are trying to drill and do better. And it's like, you're in your 40s. Figure it out. Come on now. I'm just talking out of animosity towards one of my clients. I'm so angry with her.
Oh, I had a few clients just pop up immediately that I'm like,
Yeah.
you mother, you, you own like two businesses, you're a millionaire, and you're like, in your
Yeah.
50s with kids. And I'm like, dude, Come on. You're not going to tell me you can't get on the scale in the morning. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Oh God. Some of them are just infuriating. But like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
The one I did think of a group. I'm
What
gonna
do you got?
pop it back. My brain goes back and forth. So you remember at Lifetime, there's a group of small group training that I did with those
Ooh,
entrepreneurs in the middle of the
I know
day.
exactly who you're talking about.
That was a good handoff. I don't even remember if I did a good handoff going out of it because, my space, my mental space at the time was like that relationship was coming off. My drinking was in a craze. I wasn't happy mentally. I was just all over the place. But taking that handoff with that small group was phenomenal. The person that was drilling it in, I can't remember who it was, to be
I was gonna
honest.
say, who gave you that? Because I do remember that, and it was just I remember seeing you out there. I was like, man, he's had these people for like a week, and shit, they're jiving here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I literally could not tell you. Like,
Hmm.
that should tell you how. I mean, we had 30 trainers on our freaking staff, and it rotated through quickly. There was a
Yeah.
lot of people that I had to put in the memory bank that eventually I'm just like, you're gone, you're gone.
I sometimes try to think back at like just try to remember all those trainers and like that 4+ years that I was there. I'm like I still think I'm forgetting a lot of them, and that's a shame.
I've got
Okay.
about like 12 from Lifetime I can remember clearly.
Well, you're only there like a year, right? It
Didn't it feel like it? It felt like a year, didn't it? I
was
was
like
there
8 months.
7 or 8 months.
Yeah,
That
I
was
remember
it.
that.
Like it felt like I was there for 2 fucking years and I was there for 7 or 8 months.
Dude, you think about like
Crazy.
the amount of time that it feels like you lived with me, and it's like, no, again, it wasn't even really a year. Not really.
Nope. Isn't that crazy?
It
One
was
hell of a
wild.
time. What a God.
Well, I mean, like
And
every night, well, every other night we were drinking and playing chess, so we packed a lot of time in a very short period of time. Great times.
eh,
Anyway, circling back now. Okay, well, um, how do we have a positive handoff? Like, what would we say to trainers that are going to leave the industry, they're going to move, or X, Y, and Z happens, and they have to hand a client off? Or actually, a better way to phrase this, have you ever handed a client off to someone in a positive way?
uh, I have. I've handed off my client stack. And most of the time what happens is when you're starting to leave, at least if you're leaving the gym, first of all, you're telling your clients before you tell your boss. Um, they don't know. It
Very true.
it's And then your boss starts noticing that your clients are slowly kind of like not renewing or their session count's getting really low.
You
And
have
then you're
to.
kind of getting to a point because as soon as you say, "Hey, I'm going to be leaving," they go, "Transfer your clients, get out of here." At least that's what happened at Lifetime. I said I was leaving and I was gone 2 days later, and they just hand your clients off.
No, yeah,
They're like,
it's
as soon as you want to be gone, you can be gone. We don't want you here.
it's
Okay.
it's one of those things that is as much as I love my industry and like I have to be a little cautious about it because what I do with like consulting and gyms, but um it is a really cutthroat place to be when you're on the way out because you very quickly find out that this organization that you kind of bled for really just wants to take the performance you were putting in, wants to transfer it to anybody else immediately, and wants to get you out the door as quickly as humanly possible. Um, and you do almost have to hide it and be a little disingenuous to the organization to give a proper experience to the clients who are the people that are your actual responsibility, not the organization, your clients, because they're the ones that are training with you, not the organization. So,
As I'll always take in, there's one person who she's actually grown her business really well. She has a mobile fitness business that goes all around Sonoma County. She told me a long time ago when I was in my first years, which I didn't take advantage of at the time, you are your own brand. When
yes.
you're in here, you may get a paycheck or you get this money from them, but you need to sell yourself to these people. You need to have all of your business outside of here and yourself in here. Meaning just if you're programming, you're talking to these people, it's not, don't save all that energy just for like in the club. Like notice that if you're planning to grow yourself, like get your videos, put them on Instagram, get Facebook going, get a login, get a group going, get people following you. So that way, if you leave, you're leaving with all of that you put in. Because if you don't do any of that and you leave it all in the club, you do what I did.
Got to start over.
You come out with nothing. You gotta start
Yeah.
all the way over. Yeah.
It's again, I have a lot of love for this industry, and even its bad parts, I understand in a way why they're there. But
Yeah.
man, if you're on the way out of an organization, I encourage trainers to just get cutthroat. Be that guy that just goes, "Hey, no, 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 I've bled for this place. I put this place as a priority. I'm on the way out. Now it's time to turn the page, and now I'm the priority, and I just need to get my people and get the hell out of here." Or at the
Yeah.
very least, service the sessions that you already sold, because that corporate gym that you work for, there's a reason they want to get you transitioned out. It's not out of malicious intent towards you. It's that they know that that client is almost certainly not going to keep training. So they want to place those remaining sessions with the trainer that's already there in hopes that
Yeah.
those remaining sessions are something enough to create a relationship where that client stays training with the gym, with the new trainer. Like that's the mindset behind it, which is a terrible experience for clients. Is fucking awful. But it's a thing.
Uh, I mean, I saw this experience happen in my first club. We had a trainer that was servicing maybe 110 sessions a
Hmm.
month, maybe a little bit less.
That's not bad.
And he was given he was given hours during the week that he was allowed for programming to log on his weekly checks. Now, he didn't do his programming in-house. He did it at home. He did it at Starbucks. He didn't do it in the gym. He's like, I'm not gonna sit around here. I do this on my laptop. I'm gonna do it in my free time, but I'm gonna log those hours in. So he's logging in these open hours. The owners found out about it and they're freaking money hungry people. So when they found out he was logging these hours and they're like, well, you weren't in here when you were doing it. We're not paying you for that. He's like, well, I'm doing all this programming. And so if you're not going to pay me for the programming, then like, what, how am I supposed to do my clients that I'm working for you here? And they're just like, well, we'll make it easier for you. Either don't do the programming in-house or you're fired. And he's like,
Yep.
bye. And they fired him on the spot. Like he's like, look, you don't threaten me. I will take all my clients and I will leave. And he left, and he left all these people with all their sessions on their profile that they did not refund. And
Yep.
those people were pissed at the club owners because they're just like, why'd you fire him? And they're just like, they couldn't give the excuse of like, oh well, he was stealing from us and this and that. And they're like, the club owners could fire and they could say whatever they want, but these people have built a personal relationship with the trainer. So now that club, what happened with them? They lost about 10 or 12 members. And for a small club, for like a family-owned club that's in a small town, to lose 10 or 12 members means that you got like 300 people that are going to hear about it.
Yep.
And then from those 300, the rest of the town. And
Yep.
then all of a sudden, you've got a very bad situation.
On
So,
top of that, you have one trainer who trainers know a lot of people and they're in a position of authority for a lot of these people. That is like one of the not to like say that there's so much power trainers
yeah,
have because we really don't, but
yeah,
that is kind of one of those instances that we have a lot of people that listen to us. You really don't want to screw us too bad because, oh, what do you think of this gym? Well, I had a bad experience with that gym. They kind of fired me for some dumb things in the past. Well, that person thinks that person's like God's gift to training. So they're gonna have a certain opinion about that place. It's
yeah.
tough.
Large gyms aren't going to care too much. But yeah, transitioning those clients though, in that situation, that's why gyms they want to offload you, that they want to get you out of there as quick as possible because they want to make sure that they're going to keep that revenue. And they don't want to have the bad juju of like, oh, why are you leaving? And if it was a bad experience, like they definitely want to get you out because they're just like, I don't want you talking shit about the rest of the gym.
Oh
But
yeah, that's true.
they they the longer that you're there, they're still having to pay you for sessions that if you close out all those sessions and they can't transfer those clients, that's 80% of them, 85, 90% aren't going to train with the next person. They're going to
Yeah.
say, my trainer left. That was my guy. I'll grow fat and I will choose to go back to my old ways because I do not want to work with anybody. He was the best. He's the
Yeah.
only person that knew me. There was nobody else.
It is
Like,
it is actually 9 and 10. That's the statistic for trainers that re-sign once their clients that re-sign once their trainer leaves. It's like you're gonna lose almost the entirety of that business, and gyms fool themselves by thinking that that clients train with a trainer because of the gym that the trainer works for. And no, they would train with that trainer in a fucking parking lot. They don't care. And that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, or me maybe conflating my own ego, but
not
I
really.
do really believe clients train with trainers. They don't train with institutions.
Look at Josh Peltz, dude. I mean, when COVID happened and he was willing to train people in a freaking park with limited equipment, he had a whole Facebook channel and he had everybody from there.
Yeah,
Like, you like your trainer, you will go to a good depth. But I mean, it's like if you like anything, you'll go to that. I know somebody who literally flies to New York to go get her hair done because she doesn't trust anybody else in California. Like, can you imagine how
that's
crazy that
wild.
is? Like, twice a year, she goes out there because she's like, I get these highlights, and I only have one person that I've ever liked, and I go to her.
All right, let's start wrapping a bow on this whole thing.
Sure.
Um, okay. So I think kind of where we're at with this is that transitions of clients can be very challenging, depending upon the context. But a good rule of thumb is probably to handle it with kind of more white glove or more of a ginger approach, and to assume that that trainer gave that client a very good experience, but to always recheck your work, always double check, even if that trainer's phenomenal. Like I even did it with Tyler here when he transitioned a client off, and to my surprise, to my non-surprise, Tyler did all his shit correctly. But you still always double check your work. And I do
Yeah.
think that's a very essential part of it. No, it's
You,
true. I mean, that was my first couple of sessions with him was like, all right, I know Tyler. I'm pretty confident what the fuck I'm gonna see, but I gotta see it.
yeah. I mean, that's one way of testing your friendship is like, man, whew, I like this guy. He's a great trainer. He's a good peer. I like him. Let's see if he actually knows his shit. Is take his client from him and fucking run him through a workout. See if they can pick up a weight right. That's good.
Yeah, I
That's pretty
had to,
good.
man. You gotta make sure. Can't assume he
Let me
knows
see
how to
his
squat,
let me see your squat.
dude. That's all I need to know about someone. Like, hey, how do you teach a squat? Oh, you do? Oh my God, I just remember a story with Josh.
Oh,
Oh man. We'll talk about this offline, but it's a story about
sure.
teaching a girl how to trainer, having a trainer come up to try to teach other trainers how to squat, and this trainer didn't know how to squat, and we're all kind of sitting up there trying to be nice because, like, she's up in front of people. You don't want to like totally shit. And Josh is just like, "What fucking trainer doesn't know how to squat?"
You're not talking about Jen when she showed everybody how to do the squat?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was there. That was fucking that was hilarious. Yeah.
Oh God, we need to find that video. That
Oh
yeah.
no.
All
No.
right, moving on, moving on. That's
Uh,
not PC topic at fucking all.
oh my God.
All right, but transitions are hard. Be nice, be kind, but always double check the work to make sure that your person in front of you has actually received the level of care that you may assume that they have, even though they might not have it. And then gyms apparently are pretty shisty places when you're on the way out. Be careful. Any other fun things you got to add to that on best tips and tricks for trainers on handoffs there, bud?
No, but look at the cool room that I'm in. How cool
Yes,
is this?
he's
Welcome to
upgrading.
the
He's getting
new.
there.
It's freaking sexy. How's that for a transition? Transition away from you to this. Do like the Halo theme song. All right, I'm just
Dude, that music
excited.
slaps. Like that's some wild stuff. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, guys, I know this was a short and sweet one. We kind of rambled through and went on with it. We got a couple cool topics coming up for you guys here soon, couple guests. But as always, it has been an absolute pleasure. We'll check in here with you guys in the next one. Cheers.